Hey everybody, it's Steven GetMoneyMyrick here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about why I'm building Swordflash Xia as my second Transcendence Hero. So if you aren't aware, the number one Transcendence Hero you should be building on your account, the very first one, is still Scarlet Queen Halora. The amount of buffs she provides to your team, how powerful she is in many different modes. Scarlet Queen Halora, in my opinion, hands down easily the number one Transcendence Hero you should be building. But if it becomes time now for you to build your second Transcendence Hero, there's a lot of debate now, especially with Star Wing Jahra coming out, about which hero should I be building. And so I'm going to be going through on my account. We just got up to our second amount of 5 million Crystals of Transcendence, and our monthlies just reset. So I'll be discussing why I'm building Swordflash Xia over the other two Transcendence Heroes. Before I go any further, there were two things I wanted to say. One is that if you're not subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. The other thing is that a user on Reddit, he goes by Sir Winks a lot in-game, posted an excellent guide that was discussing this same exact information. So while it is purely coincidental that we are discussing the same subjects at the same time, I am going to be linking that guide below because he goes into a lot of detail about his thoughts, and my thoughts almost were identical to his thoughts, and he has a lot of great explanations. So definitely make sure to check out that guide, give it a thumbs up, tell him that GetMoneyMyrick sent you over there, and thank him for his work. But I'm going to be giving my original thoughts and what I was going to say making this video beforehand anyway about why I'm building Swordflash Xia. So after you build Scarlet Queen Halora, your options are going to be Asmodel the Dauntless, Star Wing Jahra, and Swordflash Xia. So why should you build Swordflash Xia over any of the other heroes? I'm going to start working backwards from who I believe the weakest is up to Swordflash Xia, and we're going to start by talking about Asmodel the Dauntless. And I always joke that Asmodel the Dauntless's best characteristic is that he's a warrior, so you can clear guild settlements with him, and that is a little unfair to Asmodel the Dauntless. I did want to talk about why you might still want to build Asmodel the Dauntless and where he really excels. The first is that he still hits like a truck and he's super tanky, so he is strong in PvP. He's completely useless in the void, but where he excels is the fact that he can wear a Staff Punisher as the artifact. A lot of people are going to have a Splendid Staff Punisher because they have gone through and built it up for their ticks to clear Aspen Dungeon, or they've built it for other different game modes. And so you have this artifact that is not as good in PvP, but there is a hero that really excels at wearing it, and that's Asmodel. When he gets energy fed, he can do a ton of damage, he can be tanky and survive, and he can wear that artifact. Now personally for me, it's still annoying that I would have to swap that artifact back and forth between Asmodel and Ticks, like put it on Ticks when I'm doing Realms Gate, put it on Asmodel when I want to do PvP. But if it's for the purpose of Guild Wars or for Ace Championship, you know, obviously you just put him on Asmodel and he can get to work and do some major damage. But on his own, he's just not that strong. He is fine. I've gone up against some very strong teams with like Scarlet Queen Halora and Asmodel getting energy fed with Ignis, where he does do a lot of damage wearing that Staff Punisher, and that's where he really shines. But he's just not quite there. He's just missing a little bit, and so that is why I recommend that Asmodel is probably the last Transcendence hero that you would want to build, but he still is stronger than I've given him credit for. Now we come to Star Wing Jahra, who just got released, and she's been out about a week now, and people have had time to figure her out and see how powerful she can be in PvP, and that is the keyword. She is powerful. Specifically, the amount of CC she brings to a team fight can just be very, very powerful, very overbearing, but in order to pull off that amount of CC control, you really need to energy feed her. You need, you know, at least 6, maybe 8 Demon Bells. Again, that guide by Sir Winks a lot has a great explanation about how her energy works. So if you're interested in more about how that works, make sure to check out that guide. But she really wants to be doing her active a bunch to get those control effects. And if you're able to keep feeding her energy and keep doing those control effects over and over again, she can put out a lot of damage, she can lock down the enemy team, and she's able to win fights that maybe she wouldn't be able to win just by keeping heroes out of the action. She's also been proven and shown that she can do some cheese and some pretty powerful things within the Realms Gate, which is another big boon. But the reason I will not be building her on my Server 23 account and why I will be building Swordflash Xia is because she requires so much support. She really needs all those Demon Bell copies. She really needs that Staff Punisher or a Crown or a Splendid Re. I'm leaning more towards the Crown just to keep her alive because she is super squishy still. And the Rui makes her faster, so if you're trying to energy feed her, it can get a little awkward with her speed being so high. And she can wear the Staff Puncher that do a lot of damage, but then she's not going to be as tanky and she's not going to be around as much, so you're really dependent on that CC effects to keep her alive, whereas the Crown will help keep her alive longer. But you're talking about, a Splendid Crown, you're talking about lots of Demon Bells, lots and lots of support to make her work. Like, that's the big thing with Jahra, is she needs support to make her work, and a lot of accounts that are not, they're VIP 7 or lower, are not going to have that support in order to really pull off Star Wing Jahra. Now compare all that support that you need to Swordflash Xia. All Swordflash Xia needs, and I say all, is to be V4 and to have a splendid A and B. Now, are those difficult requirements? Absolutely. But she is not dependent on being energy fed by other heroes. She doesn't care about what the rest of your lineup is. Does she do well with Rogans and get buffed by Rogans? Absolutely. Is she able to just solo carry herself out of team fights when she pulls off the nuts moves? 100%. She is just so incredibly good at PvP, and she can replace Athaqua against the Void Lord if you needed to. She's not nearly as good as Athaqua at that, but she can do well there. She can also do pretty well in Realms Gate, doing some good damage and staying tanky with the A and B. But I feel bad saying she only needs to be 4 and she only needs an A and B, like a splendid A and B. But a lot of accounts, if you're building your second Transcendence Hero, you should be working towards that splendid A and B anyway. Honestly, the worst thing about her is that she's going to be taking that splendid A and B off of your Sherlock, potentially, if your Sherlock has been using her. And now you either need a second one for Sherlock, or you need to use a Magic Stone Sword on your Sherlock, which can work really well as well. Or you're going to have to build your Sherlock tanky with like a Rui or a Crown. But she can just do so much work in PvP, and she just does not require the support that Jahra needs. So on my Server 23 account here, where I've gone free to play now and I'm VIP 7, it just makes the most sense for me to go for Swordflash Xia. One final thing I wanted to touch on is that if you are trying to get Swordflash Xia to V4 but struggling, one thing to keep in mind is that Scarlet Queen Halora, while she's better at V4, she really just needs to be V3 in order to get the most bang out of her with regard to Stellar Shards. So I would definitely recommend V3ing your Scarlet Queen Halora and regressing those imprints if you need more Stellar Shards in order to V4 your Swordflash Xia. Yeah, honestly, that's all I had for this video. I just wanted to talk about why I'm building Swordflash Xia, let everybody know that I've hit my second Transcendence Hero on this now free-to-play account, and why I'm doing Swordflash Xia and kind of my recommendations there. If you have any questions about your situation, feel free to ask them in the comments below, and I'll try my best to answer them. Obviously, if you don't have a splendid A and B, maybe your decision becomes different. If you have 6 Demon Bells and you have a Splendid Staff Puncher, maybe you go with Star Wing Jahra. But I'm assuming that when you're making this kind of decision here and that you're working on all things, that Swordflash Xia is just a solid bet. And even though Star Wing Jahra is out, she still just does incredibly well in PvP and is able to carry herself and carry your lineups, and she doesn't really care about the other heroes you have. One other thing I wanted to discuss was just the idea of waiting for another Transcendence Hero. I want to say that if the next Transcendence Hero is a couple months away from your ability to build one right now, I do not recommend waiting and seeing how good this hero is. We know how good these Transcendence Heroes are. We know how good Swordflash Xia is, and while the next one may be slightly better or maybe a lot better, you're losing a lot of progress, a lot of PvP, a lot of support for your guild and in Ace Wars by holding on and not building that Transcendence Hero. Keep in mind too that you can always swap the Transcendence Hero if you have to. It's not ideal, but you can use those resources, those soul stones, in order to swap the Transcendence Hero in case there is a game-breaking hero that does get released. But I would have felt terrible if I had the ability to build Swordflash Xia for 2 months and I was just sitting on it waiting for Star Wing Jahra just to see how good she was, and then make the decision, oh, I'll just build Swordflash Xia. It just doesn't make sense. You should be building these Transcendence Heroes, helping your account, helping your guild, and doing everything you can to make your PvP team as strong as possible, help yourself in the game, and have some fun. So that's all I had in this video. I hope you've all found it helpful. Like I said, let me know in the comments below if you have any questions, and I'll see you all later. Bye.